Well, we are going on once again with a tornado warning. The National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning in effect for Cedar, Johnson, and portions of Lynn County. Again, this is a radar-indicated warning, and this will go until 4:45. We will now continue with continuous coverage as long as the tornado warning is in effect. And again, this is for portions of Cedar, Johnson, and Lynn County until 4:45. Particular areas, let's kind of just let you know, it does include Iowa City, so that is just on the far southern end of this storm system. We are also watching that system continue to move up through the Solon area, ultimately head toward Lisbon, and also could move just off to the northwest of Tipton. That's the area we're pinpointing right now as those storms continue to move through. And this is what we had talked about earlier. It's that same line of storms that we've been watching. Live right now, well, there we go with pinpoint Doppler radar. And again, let's go ahead and take a look at that warning that is in effect. And this is a new tornado warning in effect for a small portion of southern Lynn County. It includes Lisbon. It does include Iowa City. It includes Solon, just off to the northwest of West Branch, just off to the west of Tipton. These storms continue to move through and are moving quite rapidly. They have been moving anywhere from about 55 to 65 miles per hour. Let's go ahead and take a look at how fast they have been moving. We're going to put a storm track on it for you. Did you get a movement on that at all, Jan?
I did not check. 1 second. Looks like
55?
Yes, 55.
All right, let's go ahead and put another storm track on this cell. We'll just kind of stop it where it's at right now. It's part of that same line, and there's been some embedded rotation from time to time that ultimately could lead to tornadic formation. But as we said at the beginning of our newscast, we were super happy that, again, we haven't had to worry about any tornadoes in the area. The Saddleback Ridge Golf Course, about 4:19 it arrives. South Cedar County Park, about 4:24. Lisbon, about 4:28. City Park at about 4:37. I wonder if we can double box. Hannah, if you can put up on Max 3, let's put up the Coralville City Cam. And let's double box with that because we want to make sure we watch this storm as it pushes through. Our city cams, of course, give us a view like no other, and you might want to move that around just a little bit as that storm kind of evolves and pushes through. I would expect maybe even some large hail at times within that cell, particularly the North Liberty area.
Yeah, so this storm continuing to track up towards the Newport area, Elmira, Morse as well. Right along Highway 1 is where we're watching that rotation right now. If we can head over to Max 2, that'd be great in that bigger box. So we can show you exactly where that rotation was last seen. A reminder that radar always actually a couple minutes is showing us what the radar sampled at that moment. So now probably just a little bit farther to the north and east and closer up towards the Newport area likely. But again, radar last indicating that rotation along Highway 1. I'll take it back just a step here, and you'll see again that slightly better rotation there just off to the south, but obviously still continuing to track this, and if it's able to kind of pulse back up, something that we would want to certainly take note of. You can see it kind of intensifying there just in the Iowa City area, tracking up across I-80 and now up along Highway 1. Headed to the northeast, about to 55 miles per hour. So again, some quick movement on these storms. We've seen that here throughout the afternoon hours, and we're continuing to watch that area of rotation just off to the east of Newport Road and headed up towards the Morse area, Morse Road there as well. So if you are someone or know someone who's kind of in the rural Iowa City area or there towards, you can see Sugar Bottom there, again, off just to the north and east on that warning, or northwest on that warning. Obviously that's kind of on the backside, but that's the area that we're talking about here, watching that rotation as this storm is moving through, and that warning is now in place.
So again, as far as what you need to do during a warning, you want to take it safely, and you want to get to the lowest level you can get to safely. Those of you in Iowa City, over in Coralville, as we mentioned, Solon included in this as well. Lowest level of your home under something sturdy. Grab your bike helmet. Put it on. Don't just grab it. Put it on. Cover yourself with blankets, pillows, or towels. The reason you do any of that is to protect yourself from flying debris. Avoid windows, doors, outside walls. Why? Because of the flying debris, but also because as the winds move through, they can open or send stuff into those windows or doors, open and close very quickly. You don't want to be near that when it happens. If no basement, small interior room. That is the safe place to be when you have a storm moving through. We always say know where your safe place is. Now is the time for you to get there if you are under that tornado warning. And the latest tornado warning, again, that we have is for a very small, thin sliver of southern Lynn County. It does extend across a good share of Johnson County and then moves into portions of Cedar County. The storm itself, as Jan showed, and she'll take a look at in a second as well, did exhibit some rotation. As of right now, I've seen no confirmed reports that we have a tornado within the storm, but we're going to go ahead and give you another storm track. Again, as we said, these have been moving at about 55 miles per hour, so certainly expect that possibility that we will once again see some areas of strong winds. About 427 now for the Saddleback Ridge Golf Course. Also looking near Lisbon at about 437. City Park at 440 and Mechanicsville at about 440 as well as that movement continues off toward the north and east. So certainly, again, as we're kind of panning our Coralville City Cam, you see that as well. Gives us a view of what the sky is like as the storm continues to move now just through and off toward the north of the city of Coralville. I have the Solon City Cam here. I'm just going to pull that up because the storm is just off to the south and west. And our Solon City Cam right now does show certainly some rain in the area. With that, we're looking at, again, if you get a lot of heavy rain with these storms, it's very difficult to see that rotation. That's kind of the one thing we've seen, and now this is in a better area for the radar to certainly see it, but not a great area right now to actually pick it out with the rain that continues to fall in that same area. You've got a new warning.
Yeah, I do have a new warning. Also, before we get to that, Johnson County AM reporting multiple power lines down on Riverside Drive in the Iowa City area. So again, just showing the strength of those storms here as they're moving through. That newest warning is a pretty big one. Encompasses Cedar County as well as Delaware, Dubuque counties, Johnson County, Jones County, Lynn County, Washington County in eastern Iowa. It's all in the TV9 viewing area. Also areas towards the Quad Cities, Clinton, Scott County, Muscatine County, Jackson County, all included in this warning. So a pretty big warning there. You can see it kind of surrounding that tornado warning. That one for 60-mile-per-hour winds as well as quarter-sized hail. So again, as we just noted, the Johnson County Emergency Manager reporting some power lines down in Iowa City. So we are seeing these storms kind of packing a punch as they're moving through. That kind of leading edge of those storms, that's where we would expect the strongest of those winds as they're moving through. So it's still to come into the easternmost parts of Johnson and Lynn counties, eventually up towards Anamosa and Tipton as well, if those storms are able to hold their strength in terms of the wind gusts. That tornado warning itself, that whole thing, again, continuing to track to the north and east.
I asked the control room to take off the news ticker so we can see the live wire ticker with the weather information that's coming in. Right now it's blocking all the weather information on the bottom. We do have a tornado watch that does continue until 8 o'clock, and that is, again, along Highway 20, as we can see, points to the south. Most of the TV9 viewing area seeing that tornado watch. The potential is still there for large hail tornadoes and damaging winds. But again, as we take that wide view of radar to kind of give you an indication of what we're seeing all across eastern Iowa, you notice that it is, once again, one line just beginning to move along the Mississippi. That line prompted numerous warnings, and we've had no severe weather damage, which is good so far reported, other than one truck that was again tipped over on Highway 20. As we've heard, at least one lane has been opened on Highway 20. Have not heard any updates on that since. The second line that we're watching move through is the one that now is bringing the second round of warnings, if you will. Almost areas that didn't see much in the way of warnings earlier. Some basic thunderstorm warnings with all these cells as they move through. I'm just going to take all the warnings off right now so you can see that line stretching from Buchanan County all the way back down through Washington County, moving off to the east-northeast at about 55 miles per hour with some very, very powerful winds, some heavy rains, and again also some frequent lightning within the storm as well. In fact, I'll just throw the lightning on there for you as well, just to show you the energy within those storms. They certainly are powerful as we see more and more lightning as they move through as well. You're certainly hearing the thunder push across eastern Iowa. There's your warning. warnings that are in effect. And again, particular of interest right now, of course, along that with the severe thunderstorms, watch for the strong gusty winds, but we're watching the possible rotation within the storm leading to tornadic formation. And it's right over the city of Solon right now, or the radar does show that certainly a little bit behind. Go ahead and take a look.
We can see that, yeah, from Max 2, if we want to either double box that, that'd be great. So you can see, obviously, good rain coming down. Hey, happy to have the rain. Wish we could do without the severe weather. But unfortunately here, because of all that rain, we're just not able to see very much in terms of any storm structure. So right now, not seeing a whole lot in terms of ground truth on either that tornado warning or the severe thunderstorm warning in terms of, again, any evidence of tornadoes. But definitely, if you are in the Solon area, if you're in maybe up towards Mount Vernon, Lisbon, along that Highway 30 corridor, just off to the north and east of that area, those are spots that now is the time to get to that safe spot. The tornado warning issued in advance so that you have time to get to that safe place.
Do want to let you know, KXCL, again, simulcasting. We appreciate that from our radio partners, our continuous severe weather coverage. And we'll stay with this until about 4:45, unless additional tornado warnings are issued or the happens to be canceled earlier. But we do have that tornado warning in effect, as we can see, until 4:45. The heaviest of it has moved now just north of Solon. And again, you can see the Solon City Cam there as well. There has been some reports, maybe in some areas, of a little bit of hail.
Yeah, a little bit of hail coming in. This photo sent in from the Keswick area. Martha sending in her photo. Kind of tough to tell since we're looking at wood chips, it looks like. So can't really tell a size indicator on those right now. But I would guess it's probably sub-severe in terms of that hail. But yes, we are getting some hail reports coming in across the area, wind damage reports as well. So regardless, if you have that tornado warning or if you have that severe thunderstorm warning, all of these storms do have the potential to have severe weather with them in terms of wind, hail, and tornadic threats. Joe kind of a short time ago showed you the radar without the warnings. I'm actually going to do the opposite here for a quick second, show you the warnings without the radar. Actually, just to show anywhere from just to the east of Dubuque all the way down through eastern Iowa, we're continuing to see several of those warnings kind of all along that line. We'll pop the radar back on, show you the movement again, but it is a very long line of storms all the way down from Cedar Rapids through Iowa City, down through Washington County and Mount Pleasant as well. And a couple of those have those embedded tornadoes with them.
Trying to pull up right now our Dubuque City Cam to take a look at what we're finding up in Dubuque right now. May take a moment for it just to pop in, but it does look like some heavier rain is in the area. That's looking over the Mississippi right now, as we can see some ominous looking skies a little bit earlier in Dubuque. That's what it looks like presently. We'll go ahead and set up to move that City Cam a little bit as well and take a look, but nothing severe in Dubuque right now. But we do have, again, that area of rain that's moving through portions of eastern Iowa up toward the Mississippi. In our northeast zone, it looks pretty impressive on radar, as we can see, and you'll see that moving through the Dubuque County area right now, through the Dubuque Regional Airport, with some heavier rains headed for downtown Dubuque in a little while. I understand we have a live shot from Dubuque as well. We can take a look. This is the Millwork District, and with that, we can see what we are finding in downtown. Nope, that's Center Point. That's Abigail. The storm has just moved through the Center Point area. There's we go. You can see the Millwork District, and wet compared to the other time. The sky looks maybe a little more stratiform than what we saw earlier, but overall, again, just some rain, heavier rain certainly moving into Dubuque County right now. No severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Dubuque itself. Dubuque County, south of Dyersville, over toward Monticello. That's one warning that's in effect as we go back to Max 1. You can also see that warning. It's in a large box. The Weather Service sometimes does this with that line that's moving in. They will issue a large warning across the area to cover the fact that we could, if we're back to Max 1, please, so we can see it. You cover a large area. You can see it extending across areas of Lynn County right now to the east of Cedar Rapids. It has moved out of the Iowa City area right now. Johnson County, Cedar County right now, you're just beginning to see that move into your area. So definitely some heavy rains, some gusty winds, and the potential is there for some small hail. Have not had much in the way of storm reports at all with these systems as they've moved through. That's exactly how we like the severe weather to push through. There's no reason we want to see damage and large hail and strong winds. We like to say the fact that we have not seen any yet. Certainly, if you have some, we would like to report that. We want you to get that to the Weather Service as well so they know something happened. But as of this minute, small hail, some brief gusty winds. Highest wind report that I've seen so far, Jan, unless you've seen something higher, was up towards Cedar Rapids, east-northeast of Cedar Rapids there earlier with the first line, about a 65-mile-an-hour.
Yep, about 65. It's the highest that I think I've seen as well. Looks like we just got in a report of some pea-sized hail in Mount Vernon. So again, kind of the leading line or side of where that tornado warning is where that would be. So yes, we are still continuing to get various hazards with these storms. Kind of been checking in on our velocity here. So that's again what we're using to kind of detect tornadoes with radar, and not seeing, well, let's see. It was a lot better here a short time ago. Better in terms of more pronounced. So that's maybe good that it's not as obvious, but kind of getting into a little bit of hairy stuff there with a lot of different returns coming in. So we'll check out this as well. Nothing too alarming, so that's certainly good news for us as we continue to track radar there with that tornado warning. Again, but we are seeing some kind of stronger returns moving in. We just noted that hail report in the Mount Vernon area, pea-sized hail at last check. But we are seeing some darker return or deeper returns, darker returns. So while I'm not seeing anything on our hail path here at this time, wouldn't be surprised if we maybe see a little bit more intensification in terms of that here in the next short while.
And again, we continue to watch the system. We have the Mount Vernon City Cam live right now. Again, one thing we can do is look all across eastern Iowa as storms move through, and it gives us a great tool to use in our City Cam network, again, like no other. And you can see just more heavy rains in Mount Vernon right now as that same warned cell kind of moves toward Mount Vernon. The warning itself does include, or is right on the line of Mount Vernon. That's kind of the northern edge. We'll see exactly how it may track and move through the area and continue to push off across portions of Cedar County, as well as into areas of Jones County as that northward movement does continue. Let's go back to our Dubuque live shot right now. This is the Millwork District, and again, we've kind of been watching what's happening in Dubuque. You notice the heavy rains, and there you go. We've got some heavy rain in the area, so that certainly has confirmed what we're seeing on radar, what we're seeing from the live picture in Dubuque. No surprise taking a look at that picture.
Absolutely. No surprise there at all. Obviously, no warning there for the Dubuque area here at this point, but the heavy rain moving in the line that has those severe warnings on it still yet to move to the east and towards the Dubuque area right now. That secondary line here does have Cedar Rapids, Iowa City under severe thunderstorm warnings, and points of Johnson County, southern Lynn County, and off into Cedar County included in a tornado warning. Again, that is still radar indicated for us, but we continue to watch. And with all of the rain out there, with that heavy rain, obviously that is kind of obstructing the view, so making it a little bit tougher to see maybe from either our cameras, from, either if you're poking your head outside trying to see that as well. It sounds like maybe we have another hail photo if we want to pull up Max 3. So this one coming in from the North Liberty area, again looking like it's several areas of small hail, but kind of blanketing the deck there. Thanks to Brooke for sending that in. A reminder, if you send in your photos, make sure it's always safe to do so first, but we make it easy to share what you're seeing on the First Alert Weather app. There's a submit button right there, or at kcrg.com/unews as well. Getting in a couple other hail reports, it seems like from different viewers, but a lot of it is going to be some of that smaller hail in that pea-sized range, or maybe slightly larger than that. We'll take another trip back to the radar if we want to check out. There we are. Again, so kind of a larger severe thunderstorm warning, really encompassing several counties in eastern Iowa. We listed them all off earlier. See if I can find that big list again for you here. Includes Lynn County, Johnson County, as well as Dubuque and Delaware counties, Jones, Washington, Cedar counties, Clinton and Scott County, Jackson County, Muscatine County. So again, a lot of area covered with this. And the reason that they do that, Joe kind of alluded to this earlier, when we start to get that segment that starts to kind of bow out ahead, that's where we're looking at those gusty winds. And that's why that warning is so large, just kind of giving the extra time to get to a safe place. While it is a severe thunderstorm warning, it is still packing a punch with those gusty winds, and is capable of wind up to about 60 miles an hour, as well as that quarter-sized hail, both of which are the kind of minimal level for severe thunderstorm warning. So that's why that's there. And it looks like we're continuing to kind of trim down that tornado warning as well, but not seeing any updates really on that one at this point.
We'll go back and show you that trimmed down tornado warning. Take a look. I don't see much in the way of velocity, but maybe you see something that I don't see, Jan, if you take a look. Lisbon's still included within that. Solon, you are out of the tornado warning right now. As you can see, it's south of Mechanicsville, south of Stanwood, off to the west of Tipton. So again, trimming that warning back very quickly as it moves through, officially in effect until 4:45. Certainly some winds greater than 50 miles an hour possible with this cell, as well as could be some small hail embedded within it, but quite honestly, the reflectivity itself, and we'll change it just a little bit, take a look at a little different view of some reflectivity on it. It's not as great as it was, the reflectivity coming down a bit. Doesn't mean there still couldn't be something there. Something certainly we need to watch, but so far, that's a very small portion of Johnson, a very small portion of Lynn, as well as a small portion of Cedar County still under that tornado warning. And that goes for about the next 5 minutes or so. If that continues in effect, we'll stay with you. We'll certainly watch it. And as Jan was mentioning, there's a lot in the way of other line moving through. I'm going to look even farther off toward the west, and just to see what we have, if there's anything developing west that we need to concern ourselves with. At this point, that secondary line that's moving through is probably the one that's going to, again, continue that. Beyond that right now, all that we're seeing farther west, which goes all the way into western areas of Iowa into Nebraska, we're not finding much in the way of any severe weather, and really wouldn't expect that probably to reform into severe weather as it moves farther toward the east. So that's good news at this point. Potentially not a third line that's set to move through, but we still have to get what's out there through the area again, and that's what we're doing with you right now by staying on with you as that warning still continues across portions of eastern Iowa.
And also for our viewers on our sister station in KYOU that are tuning in as well, and other viewers, if you're able to get KCRG-TV9 in southern Henry County, we do have another tornado warning, and you can see, again, we've talked a lot about those reds, those greens when they're close together. That's another area of rotation, and this one is an observed tornado. So know that that is continuing to move through southern Iowa, tracking to the north and east as well. So unlikely that it will make it through the TV9 viewing area. Should kind of just skirt by us, but just showing again the ability for those storms to form and use all those atmospheric ingredients that we have at the ready here. We'll update that for you. So there's that rotation now as it's continuing to track to the north and east. So again, if you're in southern Henry County, know somebody in that area south of Mount Pleasant, make sure that they are in their safe place. Again, that's an observed tornado down in southern Henry County. Our tornado warning up here in the TV9 viewing area, not showing as good of indication for that, what we call a velocity couplet. So while we have still been seeing a little bit of rotation, it's not as defined, which is good news. Hopefully we're able to move that on and not have to be dealing with that here.
And that would be the hope as all these storms move through. Certainly this had the potential today to be a big outbreak with lots of very strong and large type tornadoes. If all the ingredients aren't exactly right, and part of that could be the atmosphere recovery that we've talked about the past couple of days to see exactly how the atmosphere would set up. Part of it could be the drier air stayed in a little bit longer, that they couldn't quite get to that level. Not saying it won't happen yet. We're continuing to watch that line. We still have counties that we need to move the storms through, but that possibility, again, does lessen as we get these storms farther off toward the east. Certainly some heavy rains moving through Dubuque right now, farther down toward the south. Let's go ahead and once again take a look at our Dubuque City Cam to see what exactly we are going to find as far as how the rainfall looks along the Mississippi, where our city cam is currently pointed. And again, takes a little while for that city cam to come up right now. Once it does, there you go. Just gives you a great idea. Visibility way down, hard to even see off the Grand Harbor right now where the Mississippi River is. So certainly some very heavy rains. Not noticing a lot of strong winds, certainly some gusty winds as any thunderstorm moves through. That absolutely will happen. But again, just some very heavy rain in the Dubuque area. No warnings up in Dubuque, but certainly wanted to take a look at our northeast zone to see exactly what's happening there as well. We're still on the air with that thin sliver of a tornado warning that does continue across areas of Cedar County, Lynn, as well as Johnson County. But again, as Jan took a look at, we took a look at, you're taking a look, there's just not rotation within this storm that's leading to anything in the way of any tornadic formation. So that's definitely some good news. Maybe a little, just not.
Yeah, Mechanicsville area, you're not necessarily in this warning here, but if this is able to continue to hold together, you would be next up if this warning were to be extended. If we want to switch over to Max 2.
That would be the Millwork District in the Dubuque. There we go.
There's Max 2. So yeah, Mechanicsville area, this is kind of the broad area of rotation we've been watching. And while it's kind of tough to tell again with exactly that, we'll take that off, add on our new little rotation symbol for you there. We can also see another tool here. Now, again, this has looked a little bit better maybe a short time ago of any potential, maybe a little brief spin up or something there, but now continuing to track and kind of falling apart a little bit. So hopefully that continues, but if you are in the Mechanicsville area, please make sure you're in your safe place. No time to necessarily wait around and find out. Not something that you want to be doing in this situation. And anyone traveling maybe along Highway 30 between Lisbon, Stanwood, Clarence area.
I just want to let you know that Mid-American is reporting about 1,800 power outages right now. 1,800 power outages right now, and that's not uncommon just with the lightning that would move through the area as well to see that continue. So, as you can see right now, that's down in the Iowa City area. As you can see right now, the tornado warning that was issued earlier has been allowed to expire. That tornado threat or rotation in the storm has ended. We are going to now go to break, come back, and finish off our 4 o'clock news. As always, we thank you for trusting us and keep it here on your trusted local news source, KCRG-TV9.
Severe weather on KCRG-TV9, sponsored by AmeriClean.
For affordable